Can you talk?
Yes, I can talk. Today we're first gonna go meet with the distributor up here, LYNDEN Agronomy, and we're gonna talk to them about their kind of the plans, how things gone for this year so far, and meeting structure for today and tomorrow. We have our first meeting up here in Lyndon today, and then tomorrow down in Skagit County. And so we're gonna just talk to them. Then we got the meeting from 11 to 1, and just gonna to actually meet with. It sounds like quite a few growers. We don't know an exact number yet, but I think it's gonna be a pretty good amount. So I'm pretty excited.
So basically, a lot of these guys up here have never heard of Master's Choice or understand any of our concepts of nutritionally enhanced hybrids. So we're just going to be going through some of the basics with them. We'll be talking about flowery grain. We'll be talking about feed efficiency. We'll be talking about being able to feed first. We'll be talking about microbial yield. So we'll be talking about all the advantages that we can bring to a farm. So it's kind of exciting for me because those are things that you know, a lot of our customers have already heard, but here now that we're in a new area, we get to talk about them again and just spend some time helping them understand what it is about Master's Choice that makes the greatest advantage. And you guys don't have to really worry about it here, but the most economical way for a guy to make money off his crops is to ship it off in meat or milk. Right. He'll make more money feeding his crop to his animals than he will taking that crop, just selling that crop as it is.
Right.
Oh,
right.
Yeah. What's the top end for maturity that you put in those plots?
Now,
Last year was 95.
yeah, your guys was 95 days.
45, 72.
But
That was the longest day.
But that was, we never plant 95.
Wow, you know, I can't
I
say
don't know.
never. There's some guys Jeremy would have loved to plant some last year,
Yeah.
I think. He was talking about it.
And there's another thing too, like your guys' day lengths don't equate to our area because we have such different, you know, coolness. I mean, you guys maintain your heat overnight. You know, we don't.
Okay.
So if you look at
Done in Celsius, though.
if you take the GDUs, I mean, you'll notice that, I mean, look at this, I mean, you got difference in days, only 10 GDUs.
Right.
But guys get really worked up about this, but this is really what matters
Okay.
for your area.
Awesome for the deer stand.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't have to take the cap off or anything. I can just
Guys, it's good to be here. Some of you I do know, I met last time when I came up. So there's a constant battle that we're in of making sure that we have a strong agronomic hybrid that's going to match the level of quality that you need to be able to have success. So we're very fluid. We can move as the industry needs to move. You know, we don't have to set everything up and be locked into it the certain way and a certain plan. We can adjust to the market really well. I do enough of these presentations that it just still bugs me sometimes to use that word efficiency because it gets used so much. But really, that's honestly what it comes down to. And Mark will talk a lot about that, and he'll talk about energy per acre, making sure we're looking at energy per acre, not just looking at yield or not just quality. Let's make sure we're getting the amount of energy out of every single of our acres that we need to get the cow what it needs.
And so what exactly is flowery grain? Well, when we talk about flowery grain, what we're talking about is we're talking about a physical characteristic that describes that white starchy part in a kernel of corn, okay? And so as opposed to, you see right here, this orange part on this kernel of corn, that's a vitreous part. Now, there's the same amount of starch in each of those corn kernels, okay? There's a range that we find, but it's all about the same amount of starch. What we're talking about is how that texture, how that structure of starch affects the digestibility of it. If we were to go back in time, I don't know, 40, 50 years ago, then what we would see is that corn kernels, most corn kernels would have a structure something like that. We began to export a lot of corn, and we needed to breed and develop corn that would hold up for export. So we bred it where we actually crossed off some of this corn with flint varieties from South America so that it would hold up for the rigors of export. And so we changed the genetic structure of that by breeding, okay? Or fortunately, it did hold up better for export, but unfortunately, it didn't break down in the cow as well. Basically, what I did is I had them, and I said, okay, I want to know how hard or how soft this grain is, and I gave them a ranking 1 to 25, and then I sent those same samples to Rock River Lab, and I said, I want to know how digestible those are. And this was dry grain because moving silage across the country kind of is a pain in the neck, right? Thanks for nodding. I appreciate that, right? Okay. All right. So dry grain. And what we saw is that the softer the corn was, the more digestible it was. All right. So what's the difference between 49 and 32? 49 minus 32 is what? 17. Y'all were struggling there for a minute. All right. So 17. What percentage of 17 is 32? It's about half, right? So we actually got 50% more corn digested there. So here's a question that we have to think about. If I'm feeding, and let's just throw out a number here. If I'm feeding 10 pounds of this corn, okay, to a cow, and that's way a lot, but if I'm feeding 10 pounds of this ground corn and it's digesting at 49%. Or let's do the hard one first. If I'm feeding 10 pounds of the hard corn and it's digesting at 32%, really she's only digesting how much of that corn in 7 hours? About 3 pounds of it, right? Okay, she's only digesting about 3 pounds of that. And all of a sudden I go, well, all corn is the same. So what I'll do is I'll get some of this Master's Choice corn and I'll throw it in the diet at 10 pounds. And all of a sudden, instead of digesting 3 pounds of that corn, that corn, she's all of a sudden digesting 5 pounds. What happens? She gets sore feet. So sometimes it's not about just adding corn or adding Master's Choice corn and getting a bump in production, but it's also sometimes about taking some other stuff out and making the same amount of milk with less inputs, right?
The moisture, how much of an impact is the moisture at harvest going to affect that? And then polamine.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yes. So moisture, and that's one of those other things about management, genetic potential. The moisture is going to greatly affect starch digestibility. The drier we take corn, the lower the starch digestibility is. The wetter we take it, the higher it is. But the point of the matter, if I take corn silage too high, the moisture is too high, then I lose the amount of starch that I have in there. All right, and if I take it too dry, then I get more starch as a percentage of dry matter, but I lose the digestibility of it. All right, I'll be around if you guys got questions. I think y'all are about ready to get something to eat and everything. So.
We just finished up with the first producer meeting of the week out here in Washington. We just got done at the in Lynden, Washington. We had a good turnout, just some great interaction with the farmers here, and you know, the group of guys, Ellen Boss Agronomy has just done such a great job of putting this together, and the farmers here, you can clearly see when you're talking to them how much they trust these guys. And then to bring us in and able to wrap this picture up of the agronomy side mixed with a good nutritional side and bring both aspects and make sure that the farm's getting covered is just really exciting to see. And so great turnout, great questions. Hopefully get us just as much turnout, if not more, tomorrow in Skagit County. So.